What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, the Colts get one of their first out of house free agents for depth purposes. The Indianapolis Colts have agreed to a deal with former Bears slash Bengals running back Khalil Herbert. So that is definitely an interesting one, guys. We now have some running back depth added to the room. Khalil Herbert, who is about to turn 27 here soon, former sixth-round pick in the 2021 draft, spent most of his time in Chicago, was traded to the Cincinnati Bengals midway through last season. So the numbers weren't that great last year for Khalil Herbert, was mainly just a second or third string running back for the good chunk of the year. But Cody, I mean, this has been a guy that, has been semi-productive. He's never really been much of a full-time guy besides his rookie year. Otherwise, he's mainly just been, somewhat of a backup. But certainly a guy that, for being a backup to Jonathan Taylor, I feel pretty good about having Herbert on the chart rather than someone like a Trey Sermon.
Yeah, and I feel like before, all the stuff happened, I think last year he had some injuries that he dealt with, Derek, but 2023, I mean, he was a guy that was kind of that change of pace back for Chicago. In the last couple of years, he had been that guy for the Bears and had been fairly productive when it came to that. So, yeah, I don't dislike this. Herbert has some upside potentially as a receiving guy as well. I don't know if this necessarily for me changes the need for the Colts at running back, but it certainly is a guy that you add into this competition. Obviously, a name that has had some production behind it. So if Khalil Herbert can turn into a guy that can, help spell Jonathan Taylor every now and again, I'm certainly in favor of that. In favor of adding a guy in here that he's got some size, Derek. He's not like this traditional, 180-pound running back. He's all of, 215 pounds. So he's got a little bit of size to him, a little bit shorter as well. So he is kind of that type of mold we've seen with different guys that, they're short there, but they've got that low center of gravity, right? And that really helps out their game a lot. So, yeah, Khalil Herbert, I think, is a solid name for the Colts to add in here, but I definitely would not be surprised if the Colts try to add some more competition in there, Derek, when it comes to another running back. But Khalil Herbert's definitely a notable guy here because he definitely has had some production at the NFL level with the Chicago Bears the last couple seasons with them. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, don't hate the move. Like you said, I don't think that this means that the Colts will be done adding running back, particularly in the draft. Might make it a little bit less of a need early in the draft. You can focus on that maybe in the later rounds now because, that's a deep running back class. But yeah, at least now you have a capable guy that has shown that, when and let's be honest. When you're with Chicago, for as bad as offensive lines have been, remember, this is stats with the Chicago Bears, okay? They don't, that offensive line's been terrible. The offense has been terrible. Khalil Herbert finally comes into a room that has an offensive line, has a system that favors running backs. It might be a good thing for Khalil Herbert. And like you said, we don't know the details of the contract yet.
I know it's a 1-year deal. I know
it's a 1-year deal, so it's probably not going to be anything super crazy. Don't think the market on Khalil Herbert was that big anyways. My guess is probably 5 to 6 million at the most. Would doubt that it would be much higher than that.
Well, I know just, initially here, I mean, it's an upgrade from what you had at backup running back a year ago with Trey Sermon. So you'll take that, man. And I was just kind of looking at some stats from Khalil Herbert. The last couple seasons, we'll throw out 2024, talk about 2023 and 2022, where he actually had significant snaps and attempts with Chicago, Derek. So I'll pull it up. In 2022, he had 129 attempts, and he averaged crazy, Derek. A
Almost
hair under
6
6
yards.
yards per carry there.
Yeah.
And then even in 2023, and even though it dropped a little bit, it's still over 4.5 yards per carry. So he's been fairly productive in his time when he's gotten some reasonable snaps. And you think if he comes into this season, he can stay healthy, he could be a really reliable guy behind Jonathan Taylor. Because we already know Jonathan Taylor, he's a guy that, yeah, he has a lot of carries in his NFL career. He had a lot in college. And just the nature of running back, Derek, I think you need multiple guys in there that can come in and fill in roles if need be. And just keeping the tread off the tires for 17 games, I think is very important. So, yeah, I'm definitely a fan of this, bringing in a guy to compete and be an automatic upgrade from what you had a year ago, because we all know it was not good enough last year from Trey Sermon.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's it for this one, guys. Let us know your thoughts. Khalil Herbert coming to the Indianapolis Colts as running back depth. What does this mean to you? But let us know your thoughts. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, go Colts.